I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the 6th edition of Carcassonne with subscribers, where I'll be playing Carcassonne and AZUL games against y'all, against anybody who wants to play and have our game commented on. I'm streaming this with a 1-minute delay, and as usual, I'm just going to start with a game against an unsuspecting random opponents from Board Game Arena in arena mode, and we're going to start with Carcassonne, and then we're going to do AZUL, and we're going to try to alternate. If you wish to play, you can sign up anywhere. You can either write a message in the YouTube stream chat, which is the best, or you can also create a challenge on Board Game Arena if you yourself have such an functionality enabled, and then let me know in the live stream chat. Anyway, sorry I have not been able to stream for the last couple of weeks due to traveling, and now want to get a few streams in before the in-person Mindsports Olympiad in London, which is 1 week from now. Hi, Miley X. Alright, so let's see. Our first opponent is, again, this is not one of our viewers. We're just, for a warm-up game, we paired up against AIBA 11 from Taiwan, who just so happens to be a master and a member of the Taiwan national team as well. So that's quite a serendipity that we're going to get a interesting, hopefully, and high-level-ish game at the start. Yeah, okay, I should really start commenting on what I'm doing. So there have been natural moves so far. I mean, I've got some quick points. I don't have the starting player advantage, but I'm actually quite happy with my position because I got the monastery. That's very good for my opponent from AIBA. What's starting a new city over here and then kind of creating inconveniences for these here two of my squares. I think it does beat the alternative, which was just continuing his city straight away. Fortunately, I have a fantastic tile, which is going to give me 3 points and prepare another monastery next to my monastery, and lo and behold, I draw it. So this looks actually quite fantastic already. And let's see what AIBA does here. Yeah, that's a good move, you know, preparing the completion of a city, starting a ring road. I, of course, will just snap a 6-point meeple on the monastery, and again, it's a just fantastic tile for me. I could go over here and attack my opponent's city, but doing this is more important because I prepare yet another monastery. I draw it instantly. So I'm getting absolutely amazing tile draws right now. And I really wonder what red can even do to try and climb back for this. I'm already 12 points ahead. Yeah, sometimes you get this high variance game, sometimes you get these 3 monasteries in a row, and there's very little that your opponent can do, but you still want to point it out that in order to achieve this efficient setup, it required, it required some thought into it. For example, just setting up those 6-point monasteries, it's something that was required, and then this here move in particular, you know, me pulling the city cap and kind of, and leaving the road like this, it was, so it's not like just the deck. There was still a bit of nuance going on over here, but of course an exceptionally favorable tile runner. For me, I even get like a city. Oh, I just yeah, I don't really have nothing to complain about. I think if I don't do anything stupid, it will be a win. So let me just check if there's anybody writing things in the chat. Okay, so that's a good move from Aiba. They're trying to make something happen, like they're trying to drop a farmer, which is exactly the kind of thing that you should do when your opponent has the scoreboard lead. So ideally, if they're looking for a way to come back into the game, first of all, they need to be drawing tiles like these. They need to be drawing city caps, so that's good for them. They get 8 points, 4 for the road, 4 for the city. I, of course, get my monastery meeple back, but they're already now developing a very decent-looking field. 3 completed cities on it, and 9 points already. Loads of green squares. Still, yellow is the massive favorite in this position for 2 reasons. First of all, the 23-point scoreboard advantage is not that easy to come back from, so it will require considerable development of the field, but it's possible. Like, for example, maybe a monastery over here could go for red. What else? One thing that's good for me in this position is this 6-point counter field, because this allows me to, I don't know, take a straight line or a curve at some point and go here and meeple the 6-point field, and then maybe add a 3rd castle onto the field and get myself a 9-point field or something. And then this will allow me to stay just enough ahead without having to risk my meeple in a fight for the main field of the game, which is going to be this one. That said, this is one of the instances where we absolutely should do this and should go fight for the main field, just because it is so easy to invade. There are these 2 routes, and even if I'm not successful, I already have 3 points over here. I could maybe in theory develop this farmer and do something more with it. Yeah, I could like go here with some city caps and have a small counter field. In reality, of course, the farmer will be connected over here, and most likely will be connected through a monastery. And let's say if red pulls a monastery, red kind of has to go here, so yellow doesn't even need to bother spending a tile to invade. In the future, red, of course, can take another meeple and then re-invade the field, but at least this here yellow meeple makes sure that red will need to spend 2 meeples and not 1 in order to keep securing the majority on the field. And in the meantime, I will take the 2 points up top. Pretty much the only reasonable move here. I could have, in theory, just like gone over here and started a road, which is what my opponent did. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, I know what they want to do. They want to take a city plus field tile and drop a city cap and prepare a monastery. Maybe this is what they're looking for. So how could we make it not happen? We could go here and sort of this creates a bigger city. Which I'm not a huge fan of, because then red could just complete that city and win. But it does create a lot of inconveniences for my opponent. For example, they need a city cap over here, which will connect my farmer to the main farm of yellow. I will still have plenty of time to maybe invade or block that city. I could also do something like this, but then I can imagine my opponent maybe getting like a splitter tile and saving themselves the 6 points where I'm stuck here. I don't know. I feel that it's between this move and this move. I kind of like this move a little bit more. I like the idea of eliminating a monastery spot in a situation where I'm ahead. Okay, so a measly curve for my opponent. Nothing all that much they could do. They should start a new road probably. There's still 4 crossroads remaining. They should be trying to do things very efficiently. And now I'm super tempted to go here and limit the capacity of the road. Oh, I'm so tempted to do that. But you see, because I'm so far ahead on the scoreboard at the very least, I kind of don't want to be doing things like this. Now, let's say if there were 0 tiles that fit into this square, I would do this, but with 1 tile remaining that fits into this square, there's still a reasonable chance of this ending in me just donating points for my opponent. Let's say I go here, my opponent draws the tile that fits there. Okay, they get 1 point for the road and 4 points for the city. So I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just start building a new city and simply maintaining my lead on the scoreboard. So the downside of that is, of course, it leads to my opponent completing the road successfully. But the upside is, well, I just keep scoring. Again, you see here that I did not bother finishing my city because I still have meeples and there's still plenty of city caps. I'd rather start a new city and do a multi-purpose move. I decrease this quality of this here square, trying to maybe get a couple of curves and block this meeple toward the quadruple crossroads, which has already gone out, as you can see. And then also I decrease the quality of this here square as well, trying to block my opponent's city, stuff like this. Now a straight line, don't really know what to do with it, don't really know what to do with it all that much. We shall see. I need to think about this in silence for 30 seconds because it's just so, it's a bit not obvious. How do we extract value? Miley saying, can we play one game Carcassonne? Sure, right after this one. And smaller advance, can you play as AZUL with me? Empty Veil. Okay, yes, that sounds great. Yeah, so then Miley and then Empty Veil. And then others, of course, feel free to sign up for either Carcassonne and AZUL. Or AZUL. Right, I'm just going to make a waiting move. I'm just going to limit my opponent's field. That's all that I can come up with. Yeah, so that's fine. They finished their city. They also finished my monastery as well. I'm going to finish my city. Let's see where this brings us. The last road monastery. This is quite interesting. So where does it belong? Here, right? Okay. Starting 5 points. I think I would have preferred here. The 7-point move instead. I know that it's unpleasant for Aiba to try and connect me to the field, but I am going to connect to the field anyway. Like, there's this route, and speaking of that, in fact, I could go here right now and try to secure my field connection through the top. There's still curves remaining. There's still 4 curves remaining. I could also go here and try to block my opponents a bit more effectively. Do I want to do that? Or I could also go here and start a new road and just score. What actually does increase my winning chances? I'm not 100% sure of that. I think you can never go wrong by scoring in a position like this. Yeah. Again, I'm not even going to go here. I'm just going to try and build a larger city. Like, I just want to score a lot of points. A lot of points. And the idea with the road that I started, I kind of want to build all the way around over here and go for a 6-point road. Aiba gets the last starting tile. What are they going to do? Start a new city somewhere. That's what makes the most sense to me. And I will be having a sip of hot beverage. I guess they're deciding whether they should start a new city or if they should try and bank their game on the completion of this here city. And sort of this is the last chance, right? Because if they don't place this tile here right now, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a curve or a city cap and go over here and block the square. And this is what they don't want to happen. Maybe If I were them, I probably would try and finish that city just to create that threat. And even if you're not successful, okay, you're not finished the city, but this move will add 1 point to red, and it will divert valuable resources. Perhaps I will have to play around this area, spend tiles, and try to invade or block. Instead, Aiba does this actually good move. I think it's quite interesting. So starting a new city cap, perhaps thinking of dropping a second farmer on the field after finishing that city, and also making it sure that it's difficult, at least more difficult for me to complete my road, because now I will need to have specifically a road end tile. This combination of curve plus straight line no longer works for me. Nothing really much I can do. I mean, I could do something like this. That would be quite interesting, to decrease the quality of my opponent's city, to try and go for a road completion setup like this anyway. But I think it's just more important to develop the city on the right and generally play as non-confrontationally as possible. Yeah, so there we can see that my opponent tries to invade his own field, which makes a lot of sense. And, well, what can I say? I guess I'll just have to let him. You know, finishing a road, starting a new thing, things like that. Aiba invades the field, which I think is a waste of resources. I think they really should be playing more tightly, more efficiently when they're this far behind, because with 27 points extra, it is quite possible that the field, it's actually most likely that the field will not be enough for them. So if I were Aiba, I would have done something like this. I would have tried to score a 4-point road in this area, and then later just waited for yellow to complete his own road and connect me to the field. Yeah, since yellow will be eventually completing this road, kind of spending a tile just to connect red to the field when red will be already connecting through the upper part is sort of useless, and this just allows me to score 3 extra points for a road, which is something I will do gladly. Okay, Aiba starting a new city, and this is annoying. Oh, it's annoying for me because there's just like not that much that I can do. Well, what can I do? I can't really block him that easily. I could go here, but that would be bad because then I could be inadvertently helping my opponent to build a bigger city here. I have a very, very awkward tile in my hand. A wonderful tile to have at the beginning of the game. In the middle of the game, it's more awkward than anything. I think I'm just gonna continue my city, even though it makes it harder to complete the city. I mean, it's still 2 extra points. Is Aiba gonna invest a third meeple? They are not going to invest a third meeple. It is probably wise from them. I will not go over here, even though it could be argued that this is a mistake. I think it's more important to go over here and not allow my opponent to complete a monastery. Yeah, and I'm going to even start a new city. Why not? I'm just going to take this shielded tile and see what I can do with it. Okay, they are eliminating an invasion platform, which is, I guess, a good thing to do. I could do something like this. I could continue this city, then try to finish it with 2 Dorito tiles and a city cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 4 Dorito tiles remaining. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to go about this city. I could also go here and actually try to initiate some blocking, maybe. This also gives me, just in case I need it, like an attacking platform against this field. Yeah, I think I like this move. All right. I'll just have a look at the chat real quick. Yeah, this was one of my concerns. But actually, is it such a big concern or not? Okay, so my opponent is saving this here connection square, making sure there's still 2 tiles remaining so that my city can be engulfed by these 2 red aggressive looking meeples. But this was the penultimate tile that fits into this square. Now there's only 1 tile that's left remaining. I think ultimately I'll just block this city and then I'll be fine. Now what do I do with this tile? I think something like that. Yeah, something like that makes the most sense. Just building up a city over here, trying to oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that my opponent gets such a build up, but I think I'll be just trying to complete one of those cities. I don't like that my opponent is getting closer to me on the scoreboard. I'm gonna go over here and make sure that my opponent's city is blocked, but also just in case, I have created the opportunity now to go here and re-invade one of those cities. It might turn necessary. Just gonna grab 3 quick points over here. I am getting a decent tile over here. Yiba is now debating whether to place this tile where it seemingly belongs in this here area. This would add 1 point to the city, and this would also bring this 3-point farmer into the main field where it would be devoured by these here 2 farmers. It's an 18-point field. Yeah, I think actually red is kind of climbing back into this game, but like not really, because okay, this is interesting. I think it's overly cautious. I don't think red can afford playing like this. So what this move does, it decreases, not eliminates, but decreases the chances of yellow invading the city. But yellow can still invade through here. There are a combination of tiles such as the 1 remaining giraffe's neck plus 1 cow. Like this plus this, for example, that works, and a couple of others. In the meantime, I'm just going to go here, see if I can get away with completing a city, and I can. And that is going to be, yeah, that is definitely going to be GG. No coming back from that at all. Do I even drop a cheeky farmer? I don't think so. There will still be opportunities to score points elsewhere. Yeah, 16 points for the city. So 16 points for that city, and I also get a meeple back. The main farm with 7 completed cities worth 21 points. And this requires a meeple investment. And I just got 16 points without a meeple investment. Yeah, so like when you're ahead, playing this non-confrontational approach can sometimes work very, very well. Because Yiba had to build up their own field and spent resources there, but it didn't have quite enough time to go try and block or invade one of the cities. It was also important that I had not 1 but 2 threats. There was this city which I was building with triangle-shaped Dorito tiles, and this here city which I decided to build with city caps. I didn't pull any of the city caps, because the city caps were pulled by my opponent over here extensively, actually, like 6 city caps in a row, something like this. But what was I going to say? Yeah, but we ended up pulling the Doritos, and the idea is that, well, you gotta end up pull some of the tiles somewhere. And now we're getting 5 points for the monastery. Our opponent probably will increase the size of their field. They will be adding 1 monastery point to us, but still it's worthwhile for them to try and increase the size of the field. They're thinking for a while here. Yeah, this move made sense, but this move didn't really, right? So of course we're going to actually, I think I might even meeple this, yeah. Yes. We're gonna meeple that. Then we're gonna do this and try and complete a city. We will not succeed, but it's fine. Yeah, we will take a 6-point field over here. And we'll be quite happy with the outcome. Yeah, it was a good idea for red to drop the city caps over here in an attempt to pull the last remaining city cap tile. But of course, meepling this here guy was a mistake, just because there was no need to commit a meeple, especially when you leave 2 city caps open. Yeah, difficult game for my opponent. I think it kind of started just very well for me with these here 3 monasteries, and then some honest comeback attempts were made. But by playing patiently, by not engaging in a field fight, by just building cities in different parts of the board, we kept a comfortable 21-point lead. Alrighty, so that's something nice to warm up with, thanks to our opponent. What's next? Yeah, so then okay, so Carcassonne with Miley, and then AZUL with Empty Veil. Okay, let's go with slower speed. There was something. Okay, I remember your screen name had 300, but it was a bit complicated, so you might need to remind me. Did it have like? Was it something like this? Yeah, because it's definitely different from your YouTube handle. Okay, you're gonna need to send me a challenge, or you're gonna need to just like remind me of the exact spelling of your screen name. Let me see. Let's see if I can remember it. Nope. Yeah, my mind is going blank. Yeah, you know what? Maybe let's try and improvise over here. I know I'm streaming with 1 minute delay. Oh, Milo, not Miley. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that makes sense. Look at this almost identical rating, 707 and 706. Oh, look at this here. I mean, you've been doing really well for yourself. Because, that's actually like really, really impressive, Elo. Should make for a very interesting game. All right, so we're not the starting player. So Milo's gonna start first with their 300 IQ points and 706 ELO points. That's over 1,000 points of different kinds overall. It's always very pleasant to me, like, to watch the growth of anybody who's following this channel, because I think last time Milo and I played, their rating was in the mid 500s perhaps, and it felt like this last time wasn't a long time ago, and also like even the mid 500s, that was already pretty good. So yeah, very, very happy for your rating. Okay, so city completed. That makes sense. This is, I think, not the board to use the principle of two cities. And my opponent agrees. What can we do? So this farmer also makes a lot of sense. I could start a road, but I think I kind of prefer to start this road, maybe? Difficult to explain why, but I like the idea of my road going over here and then taking advantage of this here square. Oof, 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 oof. Okay. Yeah, so then my opponent is building up the field straight away, leaving me two choices. I can go here and drop a farmer and start fighting for a field, or I can do it later and maybe do this first. I kind of like this idea. It also gives a bit of board control. It eliminates a monastery spot. It gives me the opportunity to get a Dorito tile to get a 6-point city. It creates a vulnerability against this here square. I think this is the move that I will end up playing. And let's see how it turns out for me. But so far, a difficult start. I mean, my opponent has scoreboard advantage, the early farmer, the starting player advantage. Like, it's gonna take a while to equalize the position. Now I'm also losing 8 points. Okay, so I have two moves now. I could go here. This is the scoring move, kind of aiming for this here long 5-point road. But I think I'd rather prefer the spatial move, limiting the number of tiles that could fit into my opponent's squares. It does, of course, create a vulnerability against my own city. For a variety of reasons, I decided that this is worth it. I am going to get punished for that sort of quite quickly, but I don't mind too much because suddenly we're getting a closer position. And if maybe we can manage to eliminate, to limit the potential of this field, maybe later there's going to be a counter field somewhere else on the board. And then I can try to come back into the game that way. All right, so let's start by just prolonging our road, setting up some opportunities over here. Let's see what Milo does. They're probably going to be trying to block my road somehow, maybe here, or maybe they're gonna go for scoring. Maybe they're just gonna start things here in this area. If I were red, not sure exactly what I would do, but I would maybe consider a move like this or like this. Check the chat real quick. Hi, Celium. Yeah, so they go for the scoring approach. They start a new road. They also create a monastery spot, interestingly. Probably it's something that I like for myself. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here. I'm going to try and invade the city of my opponent from both sides. And of course, I'm going to try to create some threats over here. Okay, so good tile from my opponent, 11-0. But the situation here has equalized somewhat. 2 versus 2 meeples everywhere. This farmer now doesn't look so great. Although it's probably going to change later on. I will start a new city and try to, create an opportunity to get an 8-point city, continue my road as well. My opponent is going to limit my city, which makes the most sense. And fortunately, I now get to connect over here. Was a hugely, hugely important tile for me. Just so that we don't lose this square and we don't get trapped with just 1 point. Okay, so this now could be a big ruin. Now, the ideal tile for me strategically would be something like this again, one of the 4-row Doritos. I could go over here, I could eliminate the city cap, and I could start a battle for a big ruin. And I would be the favorite in a battle for a big ruin because my opponent has already invested a meeple on a field. And if the game-deciding feature ends up to be a ruin rather than a field, it would certainly help me. Okay, they're continuing to block, which makes the most sense. And I think I have to defend. Unfortunately, I have to do something like this. It does also eliminate a couple of tiles that I could fit here, like starting toss, for example. But if my opponent gets something like a cow and places it over here, then I will be committed to the one and only remaining horse. And I do not want to do that. I think I have to be disciplined and do some defense. And my decision turns out to be justified. Because Milo would have gone, of course, over here, making this city almost impossible to complete. Interesting. So they start a new city like this, which makes a lot of sense. Do I just go here? Like, do I just keep fighting for the city? Maybe. Maybe that's not crazy. There are 5 big tiles remaining. And also, I am kind of creating a platform to attack my opponent's city. Let's do it. Let's try. Let's see what happens. I think I quite like that idea. And even if I turn out to be unsuccessful, which is still quite likely, then, okay, if this square doesn't get filled, I will have kind of a ruin in this here area. It's not that bad. Okay, that's already quite good for me because my opponent has volunteered to partake in the ruin fights, which is okay, I guess. It's okay. And they also eliminate a monastery square, which I guess benefits them more than it benefits me. All right, well, let's see. Let's just play peacefully, start a new city or something. Let's see what they decide. They probably might just continue their road. I might continue mine, or I'll probably end up doing something like this. Trying to attack their city. I am slightly worse in this position. I do have an 8-point city waiting to happen. I do have a 6-point road waiting to happen, and I think the main way how I can get advantage into this game is just try to keep the field of my opponent small. So a lot will depend on when and if the tile for this here square will be drawn by my opponent, because this will be 4 points for the city, 3 points for the field, and then access to some additional green squares. Currently, the green squares are a bit restricted in this here area. I can see several legit moves from my opponent. Like, this is okay. Trying to, yeah, this is also a good move. It's basically what it does. It creates an annoyance over here. It also creates some scenario where, like, my opponent gets a splitter, a Dorito, finishes a 20-point city over here, and then they deny me the one and only tile that fits over here, and then I'm stuck. An unlikely scenario, but something that I have to be a bit aware. So let's just try and deal with what we have to deal. This straight line next to my opponent's city will be more annoying than it may seem, because there's still many city plus field city caps, which oh really? Well, that's ambitious. Okay, fine. I understand the idea with the monastery. Let me finish my city, and let me maybe not even meeple the new road. Yeah, I thought so. That's pretty good. So let me not meeple the new road for now. Let me try and equalize my opponent's monastery first. Although again, I'm not sure exactly if that's the best move, but that's the move that I'm gonna play. Ooh, this move looks pretty good. Just starting a new like juicy city with shields and creating a blocking threat against my opponent. This looks so good. But I could also just go over here and try to not overinvest meeples. I think I want to play a bit more conservatively, and it turns out that this decision was justified. Okay, now maybe I want to be... Ooh, I could also do this. Is it crazy to do this, to spend a shielded tile on blocking my opponent's field? Do I actually have the courage to do that? Maybe like this, to create more chances of me meepling it myself. But I'm not sure if I want to meeple it myself. That's quite interesting. Of course, there's this alternative and this alternative, which is just basically 4 points. I think I do like the idea of restricting my opponent's field. I feel like it's somewhat necessary. And let's do it like this, yeah. I know, it's a bit difficult to justify perhaps, but there were reasons why I thought it could be a good idea. Okay, so I get the tile for the square. I could go here in theory. I could go here. I could go here as well, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a bit safer. I could just ignore everything. I do have meeple problems quite a lot. If I go here, I make it easier for myself to get a meeple back. But I'm also just leaving this 6-point city open, and I'm not sure how much I like it. I actually don't like it, but it might be necessary because I don't want to lose a meeple either. I just don't want to lose a meeple. I could ignore everything and go here. That's not that bad. All right. Let's you know what? Let's just do this. Fine. Let's just do this. Let's see what happens. Whew. And fortunately for me, my opponent does not manage to take the 6 points for themselves. Yeah, the reason I decided to go over here is because my opponent had plenty of opportunities to maybe go here and try to limit my road, and I really need the meeple back. And now I need to make a difficult decision. So I could go here and connect the cities. And maybe there's something to it. Maybe this is what I will end up doing. It gives me 2 points immediately. Well, let's just assume that everything is equalized here. And it also prevents my opponent from this threat of drawing a splitter tile and so on. I could go here and score 4 points immediately, which is also very appealing. And then this limits my opponent's farm as well. I think I just want to do this. I have a feeling that it's a useful... that what I'm doing is a useful thing to do. Now, whoever draws a splitter tile has actually some dangerous options. I will still be attempting to continue and possibly even finish my city. Maybe that's a bit ambitious, but we'll see. Yeah, my opponent just keeps restricting me, which is ouchie, ouchie. Oh, but it is what it is. Okay, so we can go here, prolong my city, or we can go here and take the new city. I'm just gonna do this. I think I need points. Huh. Very timely for my opponent to draw this. I could... Wait! Oh, that is interesting. I can actually still do this and finish my city. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 points. It gives my opponent the chance to also complete a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, also complete a 20-point city, but it will require them an additional city cap. This is very interesting. And maybe if I can manage to prevent them from completing my city, then I will be ahead. That said, there's still so many city caps remaining that I'm not sure if it's worth doing. And if they do successfully complete their city, then I'm sort of... I mean, I'm not doing great, right? On the other hand, if I go over here, I give myself at least a 50% chance to complete the city that I want. And this city would put me ahead on the scoreboard. That's the thing. Very interesting choices here. I need to calculate a little bit. So what does my opponent have? If I go here, my opponent has 4 city caps to finish the city immediately. It's like 1 in 7 chance. You know, it's not really that much. I think I actually have enough time to try and create something nasty there against my opponent. And maybe even prevent my opponent from completing this city. Yeah, this is very interesting, actually. Okay, so now I'm 10 points ahead. I will, of course, be attempting to try and prevent my opponent from completing the city. Maybe this is like the utmost priority, perhaps. I could just score 4 points. Open up my opponent's field, which just doesn't sound great. I could go here and defend my own city, because it's just a bit... It does appear to be quite annoying. If I get blocked here. If I go here, I leave still 3 caps that fit into that square. I mean, 3 caps is quite good. I want to be disciplined and I want to defend. And so far, at least, it proves to be correct-ish. The defense is gonna help me, at least in the short term. My opponent, of course, is going to try and block further. And now I'm not really sure exactly what I should do. It's very difficult for them to block me completely. They can only block me with a 50-50 chance. I think I should just really start addressing the city threat, because again, 1 in 6 chance that my opponent completes is like super soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 curves remaining. Well, I could go here, of course. That's one way to do things. I could even drop a farmer there, actually. Is that crazy? I think that's not crazy. Okay, no farmer for now. Huh. Will they be able to defend themselves? They should try and defend themselves. Taking the curve and maybe placing it like this, making sure that 3 city caps still fit into that square. Yeah, that's a good move. And I think for me, preventing my opponent from finishing the city is existential. But since I get a fantastic tile like this, I should use it up top in an attempt to finish my own city. Fortunately for me, yeah, that's a good move. My opponent limits me towards a 50-50. So there's like not all that much that I can do other than pulling my 50-50. But like I have threats. I have this one, I have this one, I have this one. I'm 10 points ahead on the scoreboard. Like I'm still in this. I am gonna go here or here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still 3 straight lines remaining. I think this is one of those we have to go here, and we even drop a farmer as an insurance. Yes, my opponent tries to invade the city. I successfully block my opponent's city, and I'm going to be invading the field of my opponent. Well, it's still maybe like not at all that great, because it's a good tile that I will be forced to spend here. But, you know, it's something. It's something. Now the game is maybe relatively even. It just like depends on a lot of factors. Okay, so we both have a 9-point field, which is nice. I could have maybe not dropped a farmer there, I'm not sure. My opponent's gonna try and maybe block my road. That would make a lot of sense. I will try and defend. Like I can do things. I can do things. First of all, if I get this here tile, then I'm just have an advantage. There are also scenarios where my opponent gets a Dorito tile to connect, and then I get a tile to reinvade. An unlikely scenario just because of how few Dorito tiles there are remaining, but that's a possibility. 9 points on my opponent's incompleted city on the left. We'll see where this brings us. Okay, so instead they continue their monastery, which, whilst understandable, it will actually give me an opportunity to try and inflict some blocking. I can go here and force my opponent to maybe defend even more, right? What's better, maybe like this? I'm not sure if it's better. There are not that many city tiles remaining. Actually, let's do this. Let's see what happens. I hadn't thought this through. Okay, so my move turns out... I was gonna say to be not great. But maybe it's alright. I'm losing 3 points. I'm about to go here, maybe. And limit my opponent to just one tile. It sounds like a good idea. I don't see why I shouldn't do it. Yeah. They do this, of course. Now I need to decide between taking 4 quick points in a variety of ways, or freeing up my road meeple immediately. Well, for freeing up my road meeple, surely I will have other options. But for scoring quick points, I will also have other options. Let's see, what do I need meeples for? I could drop a 6-point farm. I could drop a 6-point farm and it could actually work quite well. I could start an 8-point city with the last remaining shielded Dorito. Like, there are a bunch of things that I could do. If I do this, though, this kind of leaves my opponent with... Yeah, I want to try this first. I want to just get the quick points first. Okay, this is a fantastic tile for me. I win a coin flip. The reason I wanted to do this first is because there is a scenario where my opponent gets this tile that fits over here, but I get a straight line, and then I am able to score 4 quick points. So that was the main reason. My opponent gets the quick points. Finally, I get a meeple back, and maybe it will help me to get a small advantage now. I still have a tile which can give me a meeple back and a 6-point field, like next to my monastery. I'm 6 points ahead already on the scoreboard. And 5 points ahead overall. Plus, I am going to... I'm pretty much guaranteed to score 6 in the next move. There is a sneaky thing that Milo could do, actually. Milo could go here and start a 5-point road, hoping for one of the straight lines. I have one in my hand, but there's also another one in the deck. Or is there? No, there isn't. But he doesn't, but he can't know that. Yeah, that move makes sense. It sort of blocks my monastery. I think maybe a better move was to go here and try to save this here city connection. Because now what I'm going to go here. I'm even going to drop a 6-point farmer. And this here, if I understand correctly, is a permanent block. There's nothing that fits here anymore. The only Dorito tiles remaining are the kind that I have in my hand. I should be now ahead by 11, and I think my lead becomes insurmountable. Oh, that is a good attempt. I'll be the one who will end up claiming the quick points, but a good attempt nonetheless. Yeah, really not sure how we managed to pull that off. And we can even get a couple points extra. Yep, here's the quick points, here's the scoring, and I just need to calculate which way is it correct to take the 5 remaining points. I lost the coin flip, by the way, for my city. Oh, miscounted the monasteries, you're saying. But what were monasteries important? I don't think they were. Okay, so the last remaining tile, the last remaining tile, I believe, should be a vanilla city cap. Therefore, it's correct to take 5 points for the city rather than 5 points for the road. Yeah, and that way I deny my opponent scoring opportunity. It's just important to be precise until the end. Quite happy with this one. Yeah, I felt like Milo put a lot of pressure on me at the start with the early farmer and then with the city threats, but then it just somehow ended with me finishing this city and then successfully managing to block red. Had red gotten a city cap a bit earlier, then of course the result of the game could have been very, very different. Yeah, I think maybe the one mistake from red was placing this tile over here, because it actually just limits this road meeple a little bit too much. I felt like they could have gotten a meeple back with this tile, and then this would have helped them maybe to score a 6-point field or something. Yeah, very interesting. And very difficult game as well. Don't worry about the precious ranking, it is going to come back. If I remember correctly, the Polish nationals are in September. But still wanted to check. Yeah, Poland is one of the countries which hold their nationals the latest, along with Romania. Latvia is one of the countries which hold their nationals the earliest. They happened way back in February. Yeah, September 17th. So I think still before Romania, but not by much. All right, yeah, thanks for the game. Like plus 15 for me, whereas the outcome could have been very, very much different. All right, now AZUL time. Oh, I see invitation from Townsend, but Empty Veil was first. Selim is asking, is it possible? I would love to learn Carcassonne. Is it possible to reach a national player? Of course, with time, and it is very, very much possible. In fact, many players have done that from scratch. Yeah, you're welcome to try out a game. By the way, of course, this is not just for like expert and master. If anything, I encourage people who are newer to the game to participate much more so than, well, not much more so, but equally as much as people have been around the block. Okay, so first of all, Empty Veil, and then Carcassonne, and then Townsend. Yeah, there we go. All right, AZUL time. Okay, I am the second player here. Very good position. I mean, good run out and good first move as well for Empty Veil, trying to fill in the row 4. Well, what I'm gonna do? How about I just respond in kind? This is the best move that I can think of at the moment. Yeah. Okay, they're taking the first player, which again makes a lot of sense. How about we try that? No, do we do that? Do we do that? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. We're just gonna finish that row. And then I think we can finish row 3. And then if I'm not completely hallucinating, I will have time for row 2 and row 1. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, let's go like this. Maybe the adjacency is not perfect, but having 4 rows finished is just so good. Okay, do we sacrifice adjacency just to deny our opponent a point? And the answer is yes. Now, having a gold in row 1 is much more advantageous for me, but getting this 1 black off my opponent is, I think, completely worth it. Yeah, so Empty Veil here has also a good start. They have the starting player. They've completed 3 rows in round 1, and they have better adjacency along column 3 and have already made progress on row 5 with the 2 blacks. And the advantage of my setup is flexibility. Oh, is that a misclick? Yeah, of course it's a misclick. Of course it's a misclick. Yeah, they are definitely not going to miss out on the 3 blues, but maybe neither will I. Okay, I don't want to take the starting player tile here, even though it has some value. I think it's way more important for me to get those golds first. Yeah, they do take the reds, but the reds for them are nowhere near as good as the golds. And let's see what we can do. Maybe we can start competing with them on the blacks a little bit. Maybe like something like this. I know it might seem a bit inefficient, or I'm not sure exactly how to say this. But I still want to try and compete on the blacks. Okay, well, this is now very good for me because I can get the 3 blues. I could also maybe get the 1 white first and then the 3 blues. But then I really don't want to give my opponent 3 blues. I kind of feel that it's just too important to keep the center, and I will have to sacrifice a couple of points, I know. Oh, okay, instead they do give me the white. I think it was better for my opponent to discard the white first in order to not allow me to continue row 1 with maximum adjacency, but it also makes a lot of sense for them to fill in the row 4 with the reds, because it's quite easy for them to take 1 red and then fill in row 4 in the next round, get 1 point, and free up the row 4 without having to discard anything. So again, so far, it makes a lot of sense. Also quite a quite a good outcome for them since they get the two blacks. I will struggle with blacks this round, but I get this lovely red from my row 1. I could have maybe spent a longer time thinking about this. Maybe I could have considered red in my row 3 or something instead. That would have been interesting, maybe. But what if I'm nasty? Can I just try and hoard the golds? I can try being nasty. And I still have time to use reds. Yeah, let me use the reds now. They will probably have to do something. They will have to fill the row 2 with whites, really. That's how it realistically looks like. Oh, but that I think is a bit of a mistake because I will be taking away those whites. And yeah. And then I will be taking away those blacks. And now it's a bit of a trade-off. So I have my rows clogged by lot. Empty Veil is going to have to miss out on row 2, which I think was avoidable for them. But then if I have an unlucky runout in my next round, then I could really lose quite a lot. So let's see if this strategy from Empty Veil pays off. Kinda. I will be discarding quite a bit. There are like blues which I cannot place anywhere. There's some whites and stuff. Well, let's see. I think the best move that I can think about is just like start filling things one by one. I will fill in row 2, row 5, row 1, maybe row 4. That I'm not actually completely sure about. This is interesting. Okay, so like Empty Veil goes for the idea of completing column, whatchamacallit. Column 2, and it might just work. It very well might work. Isn't it interesting? Yeah, and the idea is now to force a lot of whites together so that they complete the row 3. They can put some blacks into row 4 and all that. And I'm not 100% sure what I can do with it. All right, so let's just force things a little bit. So surely now they need to take the whites. I will be taking the blacks so that they cannot finish the row 4 easily. They might be able to finish the row 4 anyway. Yeah, that can be a bit of an issue, but not if I do this. So they will be finishing the row 1 with the whites eventually. Yeah, I just got to do something like this. And then to row... Oh, maybe they're going to put the one black in row 4. This one, I'm not sure. Yeah, also they have a lot of threats. No, it was a very nice find from them of placing these reds in row 5 because they can also shoot for complete color. I think there are enough reds in the deck for them to try to go for complete color. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now they will just need to decide whether to... Yeah, that's a good idea. I think this is a correct decision, trying to just get more stuff on the board. Even at the cost of discarding a little bit, it still makes a lot of sense to do so. I will be managing to complete the same rows plus the row 2. And yeah, having 24 points advantage at the moment. And it turns out that we're just one red tile short in the deck from the idea of a complete color. Well, it is what it is. A bit unfortunate for them. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Let's just try and finish the game. Yep, they're now trying to get the second column, which again makes a lot of sense. I am just going to take this these whites which they need. And these yellows as well to prevent them from merging the center. And then maybe let me take away this white, which I know that they need for their row 1. Okay, but that was a very, very nice idea, like this hidden resource to get the reds and try to threaten both complete color and a second column. The complete color turns out was not possible because we were one red short in the deck, but actually I didn't even know this myself. I thought that it was possible. And now they'll be getting quite a lot, like, 6 points for row 4, and then 7 points for row 5, and then 7 points for the column itself. So they will be definitely reducing the score difference by quite a bit. Yeah, so the correct move for them is to do the standard tactic. Unfortunately, they did not find it. They needed to take one black over here because this would leave 3 groups for me, and then this would be an option for them to put something in row 3, just like they did right now, with the one difference that I would be the one who gets the 3 blues, so they would not need to discard the 3 blues. So unfortunate precision. So just like a 6 points mistake from our opponent at the very, very end. Yeah, if you're sort of starting AZUL, this idea of a standard tactic, like if there are 4 colors, to take one of the 4 colors, to exhaust one of the 4 colors with one move. If you take from the plates instead of taking from the center, leaving 3 color groups in the center, it forces your opponent to have more moves, and very often it forces your opponent to discard. So something I could recommend looking into. Anyway, yeah, very well played. First of all, starting this column over here, taking hold of the starting player tile, just kind of maintaining control of the game, and then eventually even managing a second column. Yeah, it was just a bit, I think, difficult after in round 2 or round 3, I think. MT Veil did not manage to finish one of the rows, and this kind of just reduced the scoring potential up here a little bit. Whereas, yeah, we just tried to play like very, very peacefully in general. I would try to be like very efficient in these here areas, managed to get one more row 3 completed in one additional round. And what was important there, yeah, was the fact that I don't think I discarded a lot. That's the thing. I didn't even take the starting player tile. that much. I think I only did it once. So I didn't even get those discards. Wait. Yeah, so 12 discard compared to 24 discard for our opponents. And then these just small efficiency bits, they sort of add up. Okay, yeah, very good game. Especially, honestly, like incredibly impressive performance for a rating of 141, which is equivalent to starting just a few games ago. So very curious to seeing how it's going to be after like 20, 30 games for you. All right. Let me see. So Townsend was the next with AZUL. Ah, okay. So not anymore. Let me now check the chat. All right, so then maybe for today, let's do one more AZUL and one more Carcassonne or something like that. Yeah, and there we have another challenge as well. Yeah, so maybe one or two more games after this, we'll see. Okay, so playing against Townsend, high Townsend 17. And we're the starting players, so things are very good for us. Plenty of things we can do. Maybe just the standard move. Honestly, maybe the standard move of like taking the blues to row 3 is the way to go. Or shall I be greedy and use the blues for row 4? I want to see what happens if I'm greedy and use the blues for row 4. Because it kind of should give me quite a nice segue. Like, I'm threatening the completion of row 4. I also having some whites over here which I can use. The golds for row 3 are not great, but they're coming in the next round. Yeah, curious to see what my opponent does here. I think what they should do, they should take 2 blues and put them to row 3, something like that. I think that would be a good idea in general. Yeah, this is what they're doing. A very nice find. And this was my idea, that I would just take the starting player tile, and then I would build up my row 4 a little bit, and like I would just have a little bit of everything for myself. Not sure if it is the maximum that I could have gotten from the tiles that I got, but that's what I decided I would do. Huh. Okay, so do we take the whites or do we take the reds? If we take the reds, let me try and demonstrate this. Then I'm sort of forcing my opponent to take the whites. Because I'm forcing my opponent to take the blues or the whites. Yeah, I'm forcing my opponent to take the blues, really. Okay, they take the blues, then I take the whites. Then they take the gold, I take the blacks, and then they take 1 white. Something like this. This is how it could look like. Okay. Then the other option is that I take these and I put them in row 5, in which case my opponent is maybe gonna take the 3 blacks? They might just take the 1 blue, actually. Now, what if they take the 3 blacks, then I take the 2 reds, then they take the 2 blues? I think that way I'm just a tad better off. But not 100% sure. Maybe I was maybe the other way around I was tad better off. Maybe that was more forcing. So I'm kind of now making them, I'm forcing them into a decision because I'm threatening to take away all the blacks and place them in row 3. And I think they would not want that necessarily. They could just ignore everything and maybe take, let's say, the 2 yellows. That's also not a crazy thing for them to do. They could just take 3 blacks for the bottom, which I wouldn't do. I think I would just prioritize completing more roads. They take the 3 blacks. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's fine. So what do I take the reds right now? I think I want to have this. Yeah, I think this is the best that I can do. They take the blues, which makes the most sense. And both of us end up with 3 incompleted rows, but then I have the starting player advantage, and I think I have the slightly better adjacency and all of that. So, and also my opponent needs blues, whites, blacks, and I have spots to take away all the, let's say if a lot of blues, I go here. If a lot of whites, I go here. If a lot of blacks, I go here in those areas. So it's generally quite good for me. Okay, so I can go here and deny my opponent the completion of the whites. I think it is a good idea. They, of course, will deny me the completion of the blues, but that's fine. That just is what it is. They take 1 gold, which makes some sense. I wonder, I think maybe I should take the blacks and blacks first. Not necessarily. I could also take, yeah, okay, I like doing something like this first to make sure that too many different tiles of different types do not connect with each other too much. And I want to be able to still use the gold for row 2 if necessary. Yeah, because ideally I want my opponent to finish row 3 before they finish row 2. It's complicated. Okay, noted Carcassonne with small red van next. Okay, so this is very much an option. Yeah, so, okay, Townsend's taking the blacks. I think I'm going to try and do something like this to force their hand, because I'm now forcing them to take the blues. Not sure how correct it is or not. Oof. And then I think... well, at the very least, I can force them to discard, right? So at the very least, I can do things like this. And I think this is correct. Yeah, they're going to take the one whites. I'm going to go here with the blacks. So I'm quite efficient scoring-wise in this round. They didn't get any of the gold, interestingly, even though there were 5 available. And it's good for me because they're now going to finish their row 3 before they finish row 2. And they finish their row 5 before they finish row 4. Although with that, admittedly, it is the same case for me if you look at my column. But whenever you finish your rows in a column out of order, or your columns in a row out of order, then it reduces the overall number of points that you get for that area across multiple rounds. It's a good run out, though, for my opponent. Or is it, actually? They do need the gold for their row 2. But if they take the gold, I can quite easily deny them some of the whites. Yeah, and then maybe it's not that great for them. Okay, so they're still going to do it. They're still going to do it. And, yeah, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to allow them to take some whites for row, what is that? For row 3. But then they will spend some more time with their whites disrupted a little bit. And then I can maybe try and saddle them with some blacks. Let's see. Okay. Or maybe that. Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's a good idea, what I'm attempting to do here. What I'm attempting to do is I'm attempting to engineer 3 blues for row 3. 2 blacks for row 2, and maybe some discards for our opponent, but we're going to see if it is legit doable or if it is wishful thinking. Okay, so they do the thing. I am now going to try to engineer the 3 blues, and if they take the blues for row 5, then I think I can force a considerable number of discards. Yeah, because let's say they kind of have to take the 3 blues, then I discard 1 blue, then they... I mean, we'll see. But the point is, I'm being quite efficient with all my adjacency bonuses at the moment. If I'm fortunate enough to get some blues in the next round. They have 2 of their rows clogged. Like if they get an unlucky run out, they could have to discard some more. So I'm quite hopeful. That's a very good find from them. Yeah, they have to discard 1 red because 1 red would have fit nicely for me in row 3 in this area because there are just so many reds I could score here. Now I kind of just need to discard, but I will rejoice knowing that they need to discard even more. So minus 8 points on the floorboard for my opponent. It is going to almost compensate me for the losses incurred by them completing their first 3 rows in the most efficient manner possible, at least in this round. Yeah, look at 6, 5, 6, but fortunately 8 of them are being subtracted. Now I'm a bit ahead. 10 points ahead. They, of course, have the threats. They can complete their row 5 with the blues, their row 4 with the whites. And they're not going to be discarding that much. In fact, they have everything they need this round. They have, for example, 3 yellows for row 3. And maybe 2 blacks over here. In fact, it's a really, really good run out for them. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to deny them the row 5. I think they may have not recognized that the blues were in a bit of a scarce supply. I'm not really in a hurry to fill my row 3 with reds, because if they fill their row 3 with reds, they're only getting 1 point or a maximum of 3 points this round if they finish their row 1 and row 2 with whites and blacks respectively for adjacency. But then this will eliminate the threat of them taking 3 yellows for row 3 because the row 3 will already be occupied with reds. And then all of these 3 yellows might end up here on the floorboard. So, it's still a decent round for them. I mean, they might just like not touch the reds, and they might complete their rows 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 3 blues on their bottom row will maybe not hurt them all that much. So they decide to force things. Well, this means that I have to take this one. One blue. Otherwise, I would end up with my second row incomplete. Not something that you want to do in round 4. Yeah, and they do take the reds, but then I wonder what this will do for their game overall. Okay, we'll see, we'll see. So let's start with this. We give them the opportunity to use the reds or the blacks, of course. But then no matter what they do, they will have to discard quite a lot. Yeah, so they do this, which again makes some sense. But now I just do this. I just do the standard tactic, and this is the thing that I was talking about. There are 4 colors. I'm taking away one of the colors. I'm taking it from a plate so that the remaining 3 colors merge. My opponent is forced to make 2 moves, and they will be discarding at least 5 more tiles, and they're just gonna score them so many points into the negatives. And in fact, they might have to discard 6 tiles because they do not want to leave me a group of 3 whites, because a group of 3 whites is going to score me 3 points for row 3. So this is also not great for them. Yeah, so that's why I think they were a bit impatient with the reds for row 3, even though it's very, very understandable. Just because they were in a flexible position where they could put they could put either reds or yellows to row 3. This meant that the row 3 was not in a hurry. But as soon as they've clogged the row 3 with reds, this means that I don't need to be afraid about merging these 3 yellows, because I know that they cannot place these 3 yellows anymore. So by completing the row 3 a bit prematurely, I think they gave away the flexibility advantage that they had from the row 3 in this round. Yeah, so see, we will be actually completing fewer things than them, way, way, way fewer. We're just completing our first 2 rows, but we're doing this in the most efficient manner possible. And even though they're completing 4 rows, they have so much on the discard that we end up being 17 points ahead. Well, what is there to be done? I think let's just start with completing our row 1. Row 1 and row 2, this is the really only thing that matters, just to get the game finished. It would be nice to get 1 red for row 3, I guess. Let's see if we get such luxury or not. We might. Yeah, so they take 3 golds for row 3, which makes sense, at the expense of 1 negative point from the floor line from the starting player token that they take. They just do not want the gold to be merged too much, and so they want to be able to take the 7 points from the gold without having to sacrifice anything on the discards. I'll just take 1 blue while we're at it, and then all I need to do now is need to have 1 red and 1 white, and then I kind of don't really care so much about what's gonna happen. You know what? Let's just take the 1 red right now. It will allow my opponent to complete a standard tactic. The best move for them, I think, is to take something like 1 blue into the row 5. They make the second best move. They could have done the same thing, but just forced a discard. They could have forced me to place more whites into this here area, making sure that one of them ends up here. I, of course, will have to pick up the final white before my opponent can place it in their own row 2. That would have been like an 18-point mistake had I not noticed this. Potentially costing me the game, actually. The reason why it would have been an 18-point mistake is because completing row 2 is worth 7 points for normal scoring plus 2 points for the complete line bonus at the end of the game, which amounts to 9. And of course, my opponent getting 9 points and me not getting the 9 points, this is what would create the 18 points differential. Yeah, thanks for the game. Really like how you played your openings at the beginning. Then later it kind of became a bit more difficult simply due to the tactics and the discard. But like the strategy was like very, very solid for Townsend. I mean, they look at how much they ended up completing. Yeah, they even ended up completing more stuff on the board than myself. It's actually quite impressive to fill in 4 items on row 3. As what I ended up completing here, how many? 14 squares? my opponent ended up 16 squares, and most of the time the person who completes more squares wins, but look how tightly knit my squares are, so it's very, very efficient. Plus, of course, the big difference is the floorboard. Yeah, so what's with the floorboard? Yeah, so look, like 9 points on the floor line and minus 33 from my opponent, whereas actually they scored more points with placed tiles, but at the expense of dropping quite a lot on the floor. All right, yeah, thanks so much for the game. And next we have, what, small red van with Carcassonne, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Yeah, I think we definitely have time for maybe even 1 or 2 more after that. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Let's wait for a couple more minutes. And there we are. Right, we have an expert opponent based in the United Kingdom. Good luck, small red van. And she's playing the black meeples. But I will be the one who gets the first points. Oh yeah, sorry, I said the black meeples and the starting player. Okay, this is actually quite interesting. I could do something like this, but I don't really like creating this much variance. Like leaving a monastery spot and then a 4-point road and a field and stuff. So I think I will actually... Oh, I could do this. It seems a bit crazy, but I don't think it's all that crazy. Am I being too paranoid? I could also start... Yeah, I could also start a city like this, actually. It's also not crazy. This is the most normal move. I wanna try this. I wanna see what happens. Okay, yeah, that's a very good idea to start her city here. I can either do this or maybe something like that. Yeah, probably just finishing my city out of harm's way, starting a road to pressure black a little bit. That, I think, is the way to go. Here comes the first farmer, which makes a lot of sense. I will build up my road a little bit. Black will build up her city, and to my relief, I get the first monastery of the game, and I get the second monastery of the game, and I think now my position is pretty good. Yeah, so black gets the first farmer. This is like kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to maybe try and place my cities elsewhere. But still, at the start of the game, there isn't that much point in trying to restrict fields. So I think the move that I played ended up being fine. Elias is asking, preparing to beat me in London. Well, I, of course, am preparing for the Mind Sports Olympians in London, which is happening in just a few days. Okay, what can I do with this? I can just finish my road, which I'm not in a hurry to do. I could go over here and attack my opponent's road, but then it's kind of annoying because I get blocked here so easily. I think what I'm going to do, I just want to go here and tie my opponent's road and also try and create the opportunity of maybe invading the field. Okay. Now I can also go here and try and score for the city, maybe. I can also go here and drop a farmer. No, I don't want to be too too early with farmers. Yeah. I think what I'm doing makes sense. You know, just trying to... Oh, will you look at that? The a very interesting way to do the Ukrainian technique here, sort of finishing the road on one end and then using it with just a city cap, which makes me think that I won't mind too much if I have both of my monastery blocked against just this one meeple. Well, let's see how this works first. Okay, let's first of all start by maybe taking 2 points over here. And let's see what happens later. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Trying to prevent me from finishing the road unsuccessfully. I will finish the road and I will also start a new city, but of course the city is quite vulnerable. It will be broken immediately. And then I have this interesting tile here, yeah? Well, I could go here and maybe try and invade my opponent's city and also drop a farmer. But the thing with the farmer is that it's quite easy to defend against the farmer. It makes the board very volatile. I could keep it more peaceful and start a new city over here, also knowing that the city is unblockable. But I just want to see what happens. I just want to see what happens. And what happens is actually something not that bad at all. Yeah, because my opponent sort of is forced to spend a tile on defense, and what we see here is that she has to sacrifice 4 points. There's still plenty of tile that fit into that square, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to get my farmer in, connect the roads, and just live to see another day. Yeah, here comes a monastery, which I want to try and start breaking. I could also go here, of course, and try to maybe play against my opponent's road, but this looks pretty strong. I'm also playing against Black's city. Yeah, and she's now forced to do something like this. Let me just take these points and then maybe even drop a farmer while still can. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I'm several points behind. I could go here and try and block. I could go here, start a monastery. I could go here, drop a farmer, but I think going here for the monastery makes the most sense to me. I think I just want to go the scoring routes rather than anything different. I also get blocked here. I wonder if I do this and try to maybe complete some of my monasteries. On the other hand, I'm not really desperate for meeples. I can even do things like this, trying to block 1 or 2 of my opponent's meeples. Maybe this is even better. Maybe this is also not bad. Because I'm trying to maybe block my opponent's meeples in a different way, kind of connecting this here guy to these here blocked squares. I can do this. I think it's a bit too extreme. This maybe I could also just take a point and build. No, let me try. Let me just try. See what happens if we start being a bit more aggressive with the blocking here. So surely black is now forced to just finish her city, right? I can't say that I necessarily love my position in the long term. Black is going to finish her city in the center for 12 or 14 points. Black is going to have the long-term meeple advantage in this game because of my blocked city on the right. And this advantage could be used to get farming points. Okay, well, what do I do? What do I do? Let me just start a new city. I mean, there is no point in really doing anything else, although I immediately saw a good move potentially. Yeah, of course she has to drop a farmer. Let me just take care of this block here, just in case. And let me just get this meeple back, just in case. And then we can start thinking about doing some other things, potentially. Seven points ahead. The main field is not that big. It's going to be 12 eventually. Okay, this now gets interesting. So, is she trying to block me or something? You know what? I think I want to keep the idea of getting my meeples out alive. So why don't I just go here? And it's a tricky situation for a small red van, because let's say if she goes here for 3 points, then I can start blocking this here square. Or if she goes here, well, then suddenly I can draw a splitter and then take these 6 points for myself. This move makes a lot of sense. It's pretty good. I'm kind of forced now to go here. Even though it helps her out with the field connection, if I'm going to fight for the field, I'm going to do so later. And yikes, my monasteries are about to get blocked. So I now cannot take these 3 points. I have to do stuff like this because we're so short on starting tiles. In fact, there's 0 starting tiles remaining, that this square is super, super vulnerable. Okay, so we go here. Now, can we even afford to meeple this road? But can we afford not to meeple this road is another question. So I think I'm just gonna do it. I think I have to. And maybe I can try and like do something like here, and connect like this. Yeah, and when it comes to the field, if I need it, and that's a good move. That's a good move. Yeah, of course, starting a new monastery, which can be blocked. But it's not that obvious that it can be blocked. Okay, now I can do one of two things. I can go here, or I can just continue the road. And I think continuing the road is a little bit better. Yeah, exactly, because black had the opportunity to do something like this, where she would have gotten 3 points and then made life difficult for me, so I don't want that to happen. All right, so now I could go over here and free up my meeple, but I think it's maybe more important to go here and just block my opponent's monastery permanently, and then we can think about like field invasions through places, and then we can think about completing our monastery. Yeah, because generally I don't want black to get that meeple back. It appears to be just too strong. And also with that move, I'm actually setting up a field connection platform here. So let's say if I wait until the last remaining crossroads comes out, then I will be able to block and to drop an unblockable farmer and try to connect for one of the 3 remaining curves, like way over here. And there are plenty of combos to do it. For example, Road Dorito, of which there are 2 plus a curve. And that's why Smaller Advan is spending resources on trying to block that field connection, but it inadvertently creates another field connection spot. So the point is, if I ever need the field connection, then I can get it. And finally, the thing that I was talking about, I do get the thing that I wanted. I get the splitter, I get the 6 point for the city, I leave black with only 4. That meeple on the city for her was still good. It delayed my monasteries a great deal, but ultimately I got them back. I'm now had 27 points. She drops a farmer, which is a pretty good idea, I think. But I think a good idea is not going to be sufficient for her to win the game at this point, or at least I so hope. Question, should I attack the field? The answer is maybe. If I go over here and drop a farmer, it's actually not that easy to block that field connection. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a pretty good farmer. Oh, but my concern is that her last meeple is out. So now my strategy shifts. I don't need to connect the farm, unless, of course, I get the road monastery or something. I just need to score points. Okay, so the farmer idea does not work anymore, but that's fine. I'm just gonna like go here and build things, and I might even meeple something. Yeah, so finally black gets this here tile. I mean, she does have a lot of farming points. I will try and make more quick points for myself. Yeah, that's pretty good, sort of expanding the city. I don't really need to complete that city, so I might just well get myself a couple extra points. Yeah, so black is touching 27 completed cities, which amount to 21 points. Even with that, I'm still a bit ahead. The monastery is actually quite good for black, putting her a little bit ahead. Oh, this move, by the way, allows me a farmer over here. I don't need it necessarily. I think I just want to start a 6-point farm in this area and just keep scoring as much as I can. No need to attack the field necessarily. If I'm calculating correctly, but let's just go here. Well, turns out that I could have attacked the farm, but it is what it is. Let me try, just go here. Take some points. Well, isn't that interesting? If my opponent gets the road monastery, does she win? Maybe. Maybe she does. I don't think so. I think like it will be quite close, but I'll be there like by just a couple of points. So we're gonna play what we can play best, which is just getting 2 points, and we should be completely fine. Yeah. Also, I think my last move, it's okay. Maybe it's a bit imprecise, actually. So then, finally, what I can do, I can go here and score 8 points. This is probably the best. I can expand my field and score 7. So 8 is more than 7, so let's go here. Yeah, and then we'll win this by less than 10. Still, like, some great ideas from my opponent here. Like, very aggressive farmer reinvasion. I think that's what kept her in the game. Ultimately getting this here city, which she nicely protected over here. Yeah, this like very interesting Ukrainian technique idea or variation thereof that delayed my monastery a little bit. But again, ultimately, I think the theme of Carcassonne games today, you can just see how powerful monastery combos are in Carcassonne, like 27 points over here, and ultimately it is just too much. Plus 13. Plus 13 is the result. Yeah, thanks for the game. Well played. And it's been a couple of hours, so time to wrap up. We did, what, 2 AZULs and 4 Carcassonnes, I think, or 3 Carcassonnes. Maybe 3 Carcassonnes. Yeah, 5 games. That should be enough. The next one is happening sometime shortly in a few days because I'm not streaming next weekend because I'm playing next weekend. I'm playing the Mind Sports Olympiad in person in London. I'm playing both the Carcassonne event and the AZUL event, as well as 2 Catan events in addition to that. Hopefully I'll be able to see some of y'all there, for those of you for whom London is within reach. So that's why I plan to do a quick stream before the next weekend, so stay tuned for that. In case you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe for competitive Carcassonne content like this. And that's gonna be it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.